You just addressed that a little bit. We need to basically cut taxes. This idea, there was just a package for small business. Small businesses right now are giving 70% of the jobs. Small business gets lip service, and then they get taxed and they get overregulated. So we have to clean up our regulations, and I'm not saying get rid of regulations, but don't overregulate small business like we're doing, and then underregulate government, Wall Street, and big oil. We're overregulating small business, we're overtaxing them, and we're just making it tough on them. The only packages that you see from the government is we're going to lend you money. Well, in most cases, some small businesses need money, but in most cases, small businesses need the opportunity to run their business and make money. And they don't need special deal loan programs with all kinds of rules and regulations. A lot of times a loan comes into a small business, then they have to hire with prevailing wage and do all kinds of special things. Just let small businesses hire people, make their money, get rid of the uncertainty. Right now, businessmen are just not spending money. We're doing that same thing right here at Associated Fire Protection. We're holding back. We're not firing anybody, but we're not making new hires. We're not making any capital expenditures because we don't have the faintest idea what this Congress is going to do to us next year.
Well, what kind of laws do you think are needed to, anything in specific, to create jobs?
Tax cuts.
For whom? What kind of tax cut?
Basically across the board, but especially small businesses. Your estate tax now is going to go up to, I think it's 40 or 50% of the first $600,000. Right now, in this year, there's no estate tax. And the whole concept was maybe they'll come up with something someplace in between zero tax and a really high tax. That's a killer for a small business. A small businessman is putting his money at risk. And he could lose it all. And he passes away and wants to pass it on to his children, and he loses it all again. It's just taking the incentive away from a small business to take the chances, to take the risks that will grow the economy. So that's just one. We'll move on. I can give you plenty more. But,
Go ahead.
well, taxes and regulations. Specific regulations, I think we just increased the payroll taxes. The payroll taxes are the most regressive taxes that we have. There's a Family Leave Act. There are just all kinds of rules and regulations. There's ADA. Nobody really knows what you have to do for ADA. And an inspector will come into a small business and say, well, we're in the fire extinguisher business. ADA requires the fire extinguishers all to be lowered. Well, that's a cost for small business.
ADA is the
American for Disabilities Act, yes. The Family Leave Act, I think I mentioned, and just a host of small, little, tiny regulations, each one on itself, not a killer, but you add them all together, and they just create a need for 2 or 3 additional employees in a small company just to meet federal, state, and local regulations.